This is the Sunko 737DH battery spot welder. It has the little external pen connection, which is kind of the main reason why I got this one. And there's a couple that were a little cheaper than this one that had the pen, but this one just seemed like a good value. I didn't open the thing up. I'm not going to open the thing up. I know it probably would be nice for YouTube. Maybe I should open the thing up because I want to see what the hell's in there. It looks like a big transformer from here. It's hard to say though. Since I didn't really mess with spot welders much, and this is all new to me, I wasn't really planning on opening the thing up or anything. But I am going to test it out. One thing that's confusing to me is this on the front of this manual here. But you gotta love some of this stuff. It's funny. It's like the most information you're going to find about this device is in this actual manual, not so much on the internet. This little caveat thing, it says, attention, rated current of tripping device of the leakage protection switch should be up to 60 amps. Now I think what that's saying is that your circuit breaker that you're plugged into should allow up to 60 amps. But that's like really high. I've never heard anybody else talking about needing 60 amps for this. It says that the performance would suffer from that. I would think, if anything, if the breaker wasn't high enough, it's just going to trip. As it says there, tripping device of the leakage protection. Yeah, I would think if it wasn't high enough amps, it would just trip the circuit. Right now I have it plugged into, I have this big old fat 10 gauge extension cord. And I have that plugged into where my washer and dryer usually plug in. And I actually have everything else unplugged from that outlet. And I don't think a lot of other things use that outlet. So hopefully that's mostly isolated there. My first idea for there's also some things that even this manual don't really clarify too well. Like this super pulse mode. I'm not sure what super pulse is. Sounds cool. I'm noticing on, so they have the 4P there. I'm not sure, because I'm noticing on this test sheet they gave me, this is kind of a neat, this is a really neat thing actually about this, assuming this is for real. This should be an actual test of this machine. It looks like it is. I don't know why they would fake it. It's pretty cool that they actually test this machine before they give it to you. And what I did here was I cut off this 0.2 millimeter, basically the edge of this strip, because I wanted to use the same exact metal to try to do a test the same exact way. They say they have it set to 1P plus 4P, current knob to 40. I don't know what that means. Now, I think there's a current setting on there. So yeah, amp set to 40. So I'm going to actually try it like that with this super pulse set to 0. With the let me see, 1P plus 2P. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was talking about. Alright, I'm gonna try it with like that. Set the 40 amps, with the super pulse on 0, and I got the manual foot pedal all plugged in. So let's give this a whirl. I'll put some gloves on first, just because I never did this before. And, it's kind of neat, the way they have this pen taped up with the wires all close together and that Kapton tape around it. They specifically say in a note they give you not to remove that tape, because having those wires close together affects the weld. And I've seen a lot of people using these on the internet where they'll have it way far apart. Those leads coming from that. So hopefully that makes a difference. Let's see here. Super pulse set to 0. So on the 1P, 4P, I'm going to put down a little bit of pressure, but not too much. And that did jack shit. It did something, but not a whole lot. Alright, so let's try this set to 4. Now, the only video I can find on the internet of a soldering thing like this that had the super pulse thing, dude was just like, max it out. He might be right about that. Let me try this again. Alright, that was at the 4P. It actually welded it down, but not as good as... Let me see. That was at the 40 amps. With the 40... let me get a screwdriver or something so I can... So, I mean, that's an acceptable spot weld for this 0.2 millimeter thick. Not really acceptable. It came off a little too easy. But yeah, it was only set to 4. As a matter of fact, that super pulse made a huge difference. I wonder if just setting it up to 40, like, I wonder what the hell it would do. Bang this out, make this flat again. I have the, still didn't change anything on there. 40 is the, amp setting. I'm gonna go ahead and crank that super pulse setting all the way up. It's still on the 4P. I guess I'm not sure exactly what that means, but that was their original test setup, I think. So let's try this. Ooh. Yeah, no, that's good. That is a good weld. That almost looks exactly like the one they have. So it's almost like they put it at 40 watts and did super pulse. This one actually almost looks better. Yeah, that is a good weld. Yeah, this thing's awesome. So that's 0.2 millimeter thick pure nickel sheet. Set at the 40 amps. I didn't even change it from the default when I turned it on, basically. Except for the old super pulse. Very cool. I might try like a doubled up Alright, same exact settings. This is 2 layers of 0.15 nickel sheet. That wasn't as good. Alright, so 2 layers of that. The 40 watts is not going to do it, even with the super pulse all the way up. So I'm going to go ahead and So it looks like I could set the thing all the way up to 99. I was doing that. I should have got that on camera. I was just doing that, and then you can use up and down to adjust those. It looks like 99 is the highest setting for that. So I put it to 90. Figure that's pretty close. And now let's try this doubled up strip again. Same thing. I wanted to just stick to that. Maybe the doubled up strip is just not a good. I mean, it's well welded. Well, fairly well welded. So 0.3 millimeter thick, it's not going to do too good on, probably. 0.2, it's going to work pretty damn good on. But then again, I don't know if that's a fair test because of the whole... You know, this is not actually a 3 millimeter thick piece. It's one strip bent in half here. But I'm going to try super pulse all the way up. 90 amps. Nothing. What's the deal? Did I just capture this thing breaking in real time? I mean, what the hell's going on here? So turn it off. Turn it on. Hit the power button. Why is it not letting me adjust that now? So perhaps this thing didn't even make it through testing? I don't know. Now it doesn't work the way it used to. I can set all that. I can do all that stuff. This button used to let me change the amperage, and this used to say 40. Now it says 0, and it won't let me change it. Is that a bad sign? It's not a good sign. Try unplugging this foot pedal there. That down. Alright, so now I came up with the 90.1. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. I guess with the foot pedal plugged in, when it powers on, maybe it doesn't like to be settable. I don't know. Try it at 80. And we're going to put this to 8 pulse. And we're going to put the super pulse way up. And we'll see how that does with the 0.3 millimeter thick, or it's really a doubled over 0.15. Now I guess you know, if you were doing multiple strips on top of each other, you can weld right to the other strip instead of to the strip and the battery, which will help with those kinds of problems. Right, the foot pedal's not plugged in. I don't really need gloves for this. And it's still not working. I actually think there's something wrong with this foot pedal. It seemed like it was working right when I first plugged it in. Now I let go of my foot off of it and it's still reading continuity the whole time. That's not right. Try that again. Yeah, so it's like reading that it's always tripped. So I guess there's a problem with this switch. That's good. It's good compared to the problem with the welder. But maybe this thing just isn't meant to handle the kind of stuff that's going through it, or maybe it's just a piece of junk. Now it won't ever let go. There it is. Yeah, if I smash it long enough, it'll work. So that should weld like that. This is kind of neat. I just made a video about my PlayStation 2 controller adapter, and the micro switch here, I believe, is the same exact micro switch they have inside there. Makes a lot of noise because of this metal assembly. It might be a more hardcore one. This spring was literally just sticking in here without anything holding it. I don't know if originally the plan was to have, there was a screw hole here that was vacant. Maybe originally something held the screw in there, like this little clippy, and it's missing that clippy. I mean, a little hot glue will probably fix that. I might just put a little dab of hot glue at the base to keep that spring from falling over. I think what happened was, I mean, it's still hitting the micro switch. I don't even understand what the hell was going on there. It was stuck down, actually, so maybe something like that. It's not exactly the most elegant of devices, so could see what problems could occur. Also, look at the size of that wire. Well, I guess it's a tiny little trigger wire. It's not a very big wire, but I guess there's not a lot of current and amps going through this, I hope. But yeah, as long as that works like that, I should get a consistent reading from the multimeter. Might as well plug it in real quick, just to make sure. These things usually have a low ohms version with, if you see that little mark next to it there, it means it's going to make beepy noises for you. So you can check the continuity. So if we take this and plug it in here, and then just hold this on the side there, it should beep whenever we push the switch. If I have my hand holding that right, here we go. So there's nothing wrong with the switch, there's just something wrong with this mechanism. I suppose if there was something wrong with the switch, arcade button micro switch to the rescue. I globbed it up with hot glue pretty heavily. It's still drying, I think. A little bit messy, but I'll clean that up when it dries. Yeah, the way this thing is, if this thing ever isn't working, I'm just going to immediately assume it's this foot pedal. Because I guess if it comes up too high, it might jam in, and apparently at one point it jammed with the button in, and that's why, I'm pretty sure that's why it was always reading 0 on there, because it was like, hey, like, why are you holding that button in? Like, I'm not even getting ready for you, because you're sitting there holding that button in. So I'm pretty sure that was all the problem. I wonder if the machine, if it stayed powered on long enough in that state, if there would have been a problem. from that. But yeah, I don't like this foot pedal. It can just fall out of there so easily. Oh well. Yeah, so it looks like it's much better. I'm going to put it on that continuity check again. Alright, so the foot pedal's plugged in. We're at the 90 amp setting. Got that super pulse all the way in its furthest maximum setting. That's a 1.5 millimeter thick nickel strip that is doubled over, so it's 0.3 thick. Yeah, I think this doubled over is not it's not working the way it should. It always seems to just reliably tack it to that that one layer there. I wish I actually had some legitimately thicker stuff. But I don't plan on using anything thicker than 0.2. Let's try this on just one ply of this. And that's definitely a good weld. So I like dude who said just max it out. It seems like at the 90, yeah, that's a good weld. So I'm just gonna max this thing out when I'm using it. 90 amps, super pulse all the way up. Does a really good job. I think this doubled over test I was doing was pointless. It would have been good to have some 0.3 actual thick to do this test with, but I tested it with some 0.2 and some 0.15. That original 0.2 weld that was only at the 40 amp setting with the super pulse way up is actually really nice. So it makes me wonder if the super pulse just kind of bypasses a lot of the other settings and just does its own thing. Either way, that'll do the trick. So I'm happy with this.